So for assignment 2, so this is one possible input for you to enter for your program. So let's say, so this might be a little bit complicated. Why don't we consider a slightly easier one? Just start with something simple. So this is how the user is going to use your program. So let's say you want to simply calculate 3 plus 4. Let's say this is what you want to do. You can assume the user is going to, first of all, this is something they want to calculate. They're going to convert this into a binary tree. So it's going to be plus as the root, and then 3 and 4 as the left and right child. Okay. The way the user is going to enter this tree into the program for you to calculate is that they're going to do a pre-order traversal of the tree. So if you do that, it's going to be plus 3 and 4. And this is exactly going to be the sequence of characters or strings the user is going to enter. Let me show you. So here, if you go to the Eclipse program here, let's say there's something you want to implement. Let me just launch that. So you should keep entering, keep prompting the user to say, enter an operand, which should be an integer, an operator, which should be plus, minus, multiply, division, and modulo, or a command, and also all the possible commands I mentioned in instructions. So for example, for now, you can say plus. And after plus, again, we can enter 3. And now if you, let me start the program again. Actually, I want to show you something else as well. Let me do it again, sorry. So now we just initially start. You can say, always say print. If you say print, it simply gives you a question mark, which means so far we haven't specified anything, and we are expecting some root to be specified. Okay. So now if you try to say evaluates, it's going to tell you that, no, the expression is not yet fully specified, so you cannot do it. Okay. Let me do the plus again. If I do that, and then I say print. So now it tells me that I say plus. So now it does have a left child, it does have a right child. Remember, the way the user is going to specify is by a pre-order traversal. So that's why now we are expecting the left child of the plus to be specified. And the right child is not yet specified, so it will just be nil. Okay, I'm going to give you another more complicated example a little bit later. Okay, let me say I want to do, for question mark, I would like to do 3. If I do that, it's going to replace the question mark by 3. And now, the left child is already done. So whenever you have an operand, that means you're done with the current child. So now, the question mark is shifted to the right child of the plus. So now, if I do evaluates, it's going to say, no, you haven't done yet. Haven't done specifying yet. So now you can say 4. So now if I say print, so now I do get 3 plus 4. And now if I say evaluates, and now it's going to give me 7. If I say evaluate again, sorry, typo. Evaluate again is going to give me the same result because the tree is already there, right? Because you always try to print, it's going to be 3 plus 4 until you actually reset it. So if you say reset over here, and then you say print. So now we go back to some like a default tree where you can enter another thing. Let me try a slightly more complicated example for you. Okay, what about we try to do, let's say,
you've got mail.
3 plus 4 times, let's say, 5 modulo 2, for example. Okay, what about that? Don't panic. First of all, the user is going to convert this into a tree for you. Okay, so it's going to be multiply, and then you have plus, you have 3 and 4. So here you got modulo, and you got 5, you got 2. Right? That's going to be the tree. The user is going to also do the pre-order traversal for you. Of course, when you're testing your program, you have to be the user, right? And that's going to be multiply plus 3, 4, modulo 5, 2. So this is going to be the sequence of strings the user is going to enter in order to calculate. So let's try it. So now we're going to do multiply plus, okay, make sure you have no space there, 3, 4. So if you now say print, you can see now we are done with the left child of the multiply. So that's why we got 3 plus 4 already. So now we are going to specify the right child of multiply. So now I'm going to have modulo. If I do modulo here and I say print, you can see now for the right child of the multiply here, I actually got a modulo. And now I'm expecting the left child to be specified. That's why it's question mark. And the right child is not yet specified, so that's why it's nil. Okay, so now I'm going to say 5 and then 2. So now if I say print, that's exactly what I wrote on the board. Okay, if I say evaluates, it's going to give me the correct result. Okay, let me just do one more thing for you and then we're done. Let me say again reset. So let's try again this example here on the board. And then I'm going to say, first of all, I'm going to have multiply. I'm going to do many prints for you just to let you know what you're supposed to print out the tree. If I say print, so now you can say the left-hand side should be specified the next. That's why it's question mark. And the right-hand side is simply nil because it hasn't been specified yet. So now if I say plus, if I say print, right? So now you can see the right-hand side still is to be specified. And now the left-hand side has been replaced by a plus. And the left child of the plus, it will be the next to specify. And now the right child is not yet specified, but it's not the next. So that's why it's still nil. Okay, so now if I do 3 here, then 3 is actually an operator. It's going to replace a question mark by 3. And now we'll shift the question mark to this nil over here. That's what's going to happen. If I do that, and I say print, right? That's going to shift the question mark to here. And now, if I say 4, what's going to happen? 3 plus 4, very good. But what about the nil on the right-hand side of the multiply? Question mark, actually, right? Because somehow you're expecting a... So whenever you should always have a question mark in your expression. That means the next expression to be specified. That's the tricky part. Okay, if I say 4, now I do have question mark over there, right? Okay, you can watch the video again to actually make sure you follow that. Okay, let me do, so now you'll be modulo. Now, if I say print, again, you can see the modulo has two subtrees. The left subtree is the next to be specified, that's why it's question mark. And the right-hand side, the right subtree will be specified later after the left subtree is specified. So now let me say 5. Now it's quite conceivable. So after I specify 5, question mark will be replaced by 5, and you will be shifted to the right-hand side nil, right? So if I say print, so that means now what's left would be to specify this question mark here. So now let's say you can see now we are only up to here. This is question mark, right? This is a question mark. Let's say I would like to make it slightly more complicated. What if I want to make it like modulo, what about 4 minus 2? If I want to do that, I'm going to do minus and then 4 and then 2, right? That's what I would do. That's why the parenthesis is really important, right? So now if I do, I do a minus here, and then it's going to replace the question mark here by question mark minus nil. That means we got one more subtraction to do before I'm finished. Okay, if I do now 4 here and print, so now I have 4 here, and now finally I can keep going if I want to make it more complicated, but let's stop here. I'll say 2 here. Okay, so now I'm done. So now you can say evaluates is going to give me the result, and that should be the correct result. You can double check. Okay, that's about how you can enter the inputs. Basically, the key is the user is going to convert whatever infix expression they would like to calculate into binary tree. And then the way they enter the inputs into your program is by doing a pre-order traversal of the tree, and then enter that line by line. Okay, and every time you can always print. And whenever you print, you have to use parentheses to disambiguate the order of execution, right? Because in this case, you must do 3 plus 4 first before you can do the multiplication, right? So basically, for every subtree, you have to make sure whenever you print a subtree, put a parenthesis around. And let me see what's more. And also, whenever you try to evaluate your expression, you have to keep track of whether the current tree has been fully specified. meaning that there should be no question mark in your tree. Okay, so apparently you have to use the tree data structure for this assignment here, but I can tell you that you need one more data structure, which we learned before. You need one more. And that one is not so obvious from the instruction. You have to go into, you really have to dig into the assignment, and then you'll realize you need one more data structure. I won't tell you what, but I might leave this as a hint, maybe for next Friday. So you better think about that. Okay, you need more than tree. Okay, since you guys actually turn up to the lecture, so that's why I'm telling you this much. For those people who didn't show up in time, unless they follow the video carefully, they actually won't know this hint. It's actually quite a big hint to you. So you need more than a tree. Okay,